Early October 2025 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails and video clips. Yes, a few photos to give you a flavour. There's Samantha and June sat in the kitchen. There's Toadie and Lady, Michelle's pussycat. And Jude's providing transport, so we went out to the place open for the National Garden Scheme on one day. That was lovely. And what else? Oh yes, get together with Alan back from 1970 and Franti days. Oh, and birthday for Saskia on the left and Michelle. Well, it was Saskia's birthday, but we all got together. That was Gary. I spent some time also at Blackbush, and yes, and in the evenings forced myself to eat in the village, like Sorrentine or the Flame Kebab. And of course the important time was over in the Comrades Club, getting together with people like Billy Laney, who was at Jack's 1943 coming home party in the village. Oh, that was the Duke's Head. Oh, of course, and the cricketers were grumpy old men. So, now into the introduction that was shot a little while ago. Rough cut photo trails and video clips. Yes, it will be pretty rough. I'll start with the standard introduction. This is where we live, at 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill, with warning signs about fierce guard cats. Toadie is one of them. You may even pick up a QR code there. And this has been known as Robin's Corner from the late 1980s, where GPS was tested on this spot, just down here. And there's the garden sculpture that June got Robin as a birthday present a few years ago. There's the oak tree that sprung up from an acorn. Yes, we've got lots of acorns everywhere. And this is getting into late September now. Everything's coming into lovely flower. Here's the robot boat, Snoopy's robot boat across the Atlantic. And there's Snoopy the Viking. And I've just noticed a vehicle's arrived. It might be a courier, possibly with the mosquito zappers. Yeah, so problems to be sorted on the robot boat, but that's all on the various photo trails. And just recently I've been consulting some AI machines. Right, this is June's car with promotion of the website gpss.co.uk. that was a business many decades ago. It is now hobbies like the robot boat and charitable causes. So coming down drive here, yes, these are projects like the bicycle not yet working, and the cat forts done several years ago now. Yeah, warning signs everywhere, including armed mice, not just cats. Yes, so that's probably enough of that for the moment. And coming towards the front door, here's the camper that was used for taking Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast, and June and Samantha had a holiday for a few days in it down in Cornwall. Yes, here's the battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Now, before we go into the house, I've got to point out a few warning signs, and I must hasten to add, these are just jokes, because you know what people will say. Anyhow, so we come down and it says, closed circuit TV, hidden TV cameras inside and outside this house. Sound and video is monitored in local houses and elsewhere. No trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Just a joke, of course. Yes, cameras everywhere. Lots of them. That's the flatulent fairy. Was to go on up a tree. It might go up a tree next Christmas. What else have we got? Yes, peanuts everywhere for various wildlife. Peanut feeder, that was recently fixed. And yes, another camera down there. Gnomes. Now these signs are probably the most important. That's my study in there. And do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. And maybe this sign, from a health and safety point of view, is the most important of the lot. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Just a joke, of course. Right, I think it's safe to go into the house now, so let's try doing that. And yes, tennis gear. You can see the time, it's just coming up to 12 o'clock British Standard Time. And quick glance into the kitchen, and June watching tennis on the television just for a change. Yes, that was a big breakthrough, putting in these skylights and these temporary mirrors. That was some time ago now. So this is the kitchen. So now go through. We haven't got to where the real work was done, which was the end of the garden. Yes, doing this on the smartphone because I haven't got a suitable camera and I don't like big clunky ones. So going into the lounge here. Yes, there's Robin's naughty corner where he relaxes, nice furniture, perhaps to have a snack and look at the closed circuit TV. Yes, that was very cheap from a scrapyard, I think, £5. Anyhow, well, tip. Yes, so here is, we've got a cheap PC driving the TV and it's tracking me at the moment, so there we go. You can zoom in, but there's Sunninghill, where we are in Sunninghill. Now, so the lounge hasn't really changed very much, but now I'm going to go into the garden, and where we've done most of the work is down the end. But a few little projects have come along. There's still experimental work going on here. Yes, mosquito zapper, because they're a problem. Now, the pond is filling up at the moment, which is a regular daily ritual. And it's during the winter that we can work seriously on it. But this is a project which is pretty well done now, which is the little Brussels peeing boy. And I think we've got the electrics and everything else about right now. And that reminds me of my trips to NATO headquarters in Brussels in the 70s. Anyhow, that is the top pond. And of course, when it's filled up, and of course, hopefully, all the rainwater comes off the roof and down into it, over there. And yes, there's a concrete lady fountain. And then it overflows into this pond. It's still got a way to go, yeah, because I only set it going half an hour ago. Overflows and goes down the stream. Yes, that's the telescope that I built the optics for as a boy. And no time to do any work on that. There's wild fennel from Sicily. We brought some cuttings back. And not important ingredient. Now, I'm coming down the garden. You may have seen this in the more recent photo trail, but yes, so that's to make it a bit easier to go down the steps. There's the hose running from round the side of the house to fill. I may as well show a glance of this because these videos are very much for people into property maintenance. It shows things how not to do them when I make mistakes, but also that some things are very simple. And that's where the electrics, including a car battery and things, are for the driving the pumps. So that's around this side. Load of tidying up needed. But right, this is the second pond. And we did a bit to make a progress of cutting this, and that was Samantha and June helped. And part of it was where I had a bit of an accident because this hadn't been made secure enough. and luckily Samantha was there to help me untrack myself. Right, we're coming down now. Yeah, flowers. Of course, June's roses, even if you cut them back early in the year, they rather obstructing my sundial, but not to worry. You can hear a pigeon in the background, I think. So we're about to go down into the area where real progress has been made. So past the Gunnera manticata, which is the only surviving one we have in the garden at the moment, down into what is a lovely place to sit and relax, particularly in the evening. And you can see the wildlife and the birds and everything. This morning, when I was just checking things out, yes, this will fill up. I found that I think it was a fox. Normally we worry about pigeons, so yes, look at that mess there. Now, the cameras aren't all working, but that's my suspicions, it was a fox. Yeah, so this is coming along very nicely. We've got bulbs planted here, which will be things like bluebells. We've got plenty of scope for putting primroses, and of course the sky has been opened up. We could do more, so particularly when the sun comes across the sky, then this becomes quite a sunny spot, so quite a lot of plants will grow. Most of the plants that we've been putting in are things like mint, which mosquitoes don't like, but we have a mosquito trap. I've ordered 2 more of those for up near the house, and I don't like it if they get moths, but you can see pigeons settle on it, make a mess on the solar panel. Bird feeders. Now down in this end, I've just topped them up recently, but we've got, I think it's 5 bird feeders here. And there's another one up there. Anyhow, this is a lovely spot to sit and relax, including in the evening, and then the solar lights come on. And of course, a lot of those details will be in the photo trail. Now, where an important bit of progress is, because it won't be long and loads of leaves will be coming down, we needed the space to put things, and we used up a lot of space on the compost heaps, but I've increased the height of the compost heap, so we won't be running out of space for dumping stuff. So most of it are cuttings like rhododendron and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's the junk area. We'll tidy that up in due course, including being able to access things like the ladder. I may as well show it. It's been on other photo trails, which is, yes, a few key tools are in there, like chainsaws. Shouldn't be misused, of course. And so coming up the garden, right, anybody who's going to do some lovely flowers starting to come up here already. Not sure what all of them are. June's washing line. Now, this hasn't changed much, but it's worth pointing out. Somebody's got to do mow the lawns. Oh, look for a lawnmower. Oh, there's a lawnmower. There's a strimmer. Uses mains power. Yeah, go for around the other side, and there's an extension lead. And I haven't cut that grass for months now. But if I did want to cut it, the whole job, including getting the tools out, mowing it, putting the grass on the compost heap, putting the tools away, well, possibly half an hour, but not much more. Right, we're coming round into the workshop area here. So, for example, there's power here with an extension lead. And this was done some time ago, mostly with the help of Paul from Chobham. And so we've got stuff there. And of course, more tidying up could be done to put tools in the right place. So, for example, hammers tend to be in the same area, files and everything else, spanners. So that needs to be worked on in terms of work, because at the end of the day you say what's at the top of the priority list, and some things interrupt others. So we're now coming back up, and we should be running into those photo trails soon. This is dunes little patch here. I might as well complete it. So yeah, PIR lights come on. That's her greenhouse. Yes, lots of junk here. And come round, sorry about the politically incorrect water tub that's important here. That's where the cats can go in and out. This is where the tap is, main tap, and then loads of routes for the water to go to different places. That's where materials, oh yes, that's plastic piping material, wood, and of course various other odds and ends. So working round here, this brings us round to where the dustbins are kept and the at the front. So yeah, you could say this is useful for somebody who wants to case the joint, but I don't think it would be a good idea. Anyhow, so we're about to go into the photo trails, which are just those few days in late September, and so just making sure you see all this. So I haven't really done anything on that, and we're gradually putting things around here into what seems to be the right place. There looks like spare water squirters to be looked on. You can see what the time is there. You can see what the temperature is there. What is that? Coming up to 13 centigrade or something like that. Yeah, the barbecue under there. So gradually it'll get tidied up more, but, and of course we've got fishes in the pond. And where's the water level? Where it's coming up, it's probably within an inch or two of overflowing. There's a depth gauge over there. So at the end of the photo trails, there'll be some material that was shot a couple of years ago, which is on two topics. One is well, global warming, which is very important, of course. In short, it's going to happen and you haven't seen anything yet. And the other thing is Robin's experience with the DVLA, Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency. Anyhow, enough of that. Let's go into those photo trails now. I warned you, they will be long photo trails. Wednesday the 1st of October 2025. Yes, it was pub lunch for grumpy old men at the Duke of Edinburgh. Nice food and conversation, and then in the evening a meal at the La Sorrentina, ditto, arancini and olives. And right, now into the photos in the order shot, and of course there'll be some slow delays and don't know why. Now that was the bowl in the stream. I think we've got the right solution now, so it won't float up when the water goes in. There's weight like stones in the bottom and mints planted in the back of it. Another long delay, don't know why, but doesn't matter. And what's the next photo? Goodness me, these photos should normally be 2 seconds. Right, that's the time, 12 degrees centigrade, and that's the time when I started taking photos in the day. So the top porch, that is, you can see a few things there, including the mosquito zapper being painted black a day or two before. Yes, another long delay. Yes, June's watching tennis from Beijing in the kitchen. I go into the lounge. Yes, I'm copying stuff there. And did I say lounge? That was the study. Right, that's where we're going. The Duke of Edinburgh. Yes, yeah, 10 minutes or so. And of course anybody could see where Robin was with his tracker. And yeah, so a few snaps there, and expect Stuart to be arriving soon. So I relax there, coming up to midday, and I can wait to see if he arrives. Yeah, long delay on that. I wonder why. Oh, looks like I'm in the car. And Stuart's chauffeur Duke of Edinburgh? Yes. Just a record of what we ate. And not many photos, of course. Right, so we're now on our way back through the village. Cause Hall, Rajvuj, the Jade, Holloway stores that's been changed into a dentist, Chapman's, Freewan Barbers, Flame Kebab, and Charters Lane, and back home. Now, of course, I popped home briefly. I remembered to turn the tap off for filling the ponds, and yeah, long delay on that. Editing these, right? That's that. The water's flowing through along the stream, and that obviously fills up that bowl if it had dried out. So a few more snaps around the garden. That's the 4 candles project. Now, just in case, you must have heard me several times, when I do the editing, I set the times normally for 2 seconds per photo. And of course, a lot of these, that's looking along the bridge on the second pond. But a lot of these delays are a lot longer. That's one of the mosquito zappers. Yes, long delay. Suppose it gives you a chance to look at the picture, not that you particularly want to look at that picture. Goodness me, what a long delay that was. Right. That's the peeing boy number 1, and that all seems to be as it should be. He doesn't spray off the side, so the water doesn't get lost. Yeah, we're down to the normal 2 seconds delay. So I'm going across, yeah, June's watching the tennis, and I'm going across the road for coffee. And yeah, came back, and June's doing work in the kitchen, of course. Into the study. Oh yes, I thought we'll pop into Lightwater Surgery and to see if I get useful information going to reception of now I think the NHS do pay for the hearing treatment, like having your ears cleaned out and hearing aids and things. So we popped there. A few nice snaps, including that bunny that had been put where we'd parked behind the church, and there's a cafe and everything there. So anyway, we got good advice from the desk, which was basically to phone and make an appointment before 11 in the morning. And yeah, back home. And what comes next? Oh yes, the tracker showing Robin's home. Yeah, watching tennis. And yes, that's end of September 2025 video, and so that was processing that. Quite a slow process, but it's fine, just leave the machine doing it. Looks like I'm off down to the village. Yes, you can see it's getting dark. Probably decide where to go for a meal. Oh yes, La Sorrentina. Arancini, olives. Oh, I needed some cash. I ended up having to walk all the way around to the post office because the one in the one stop was closed. About the only cash machines I know about. Right, getting back home, and yes, into the house. Yeah, processing 14.5% done. So leave that running. Time for bed. That's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 2nd of October 2025. Yes, Toadie keeps an eye on people coming to the property. And yes, photos were taken down the end of the garden, showing what happens after the pond is topped up down the end. And I found out that just now that when recording these voice commentaries to use the Media Classic player solves my problems. Anyhow, that was the new job, if you call it that, which is that bowl, having a bit of a relax. wondering what to do next. Coming back up the top, and yes, just photos around. Oh, and the little peeing boy, that's coming along nicely. No work needed to be done on that for several days. 5:10 in the afternoon. Yes, and it's had a chance to dry out. I decided that wasn't needed. That's the little glass thing. No, just a stone or two. Make sure it doesn't float up if water gets under it. And filled it up with water. And so that's okay. Relax again. Well, you've got to think, okay, oh, there's Toady out the front. Hello, Toady. Yes. He does tend to go to sleep on guard duty, though. That's the trouble. Looks like I'm down to the village. Ah, La Sorrentina. Yes, arancini and olives and bread. Yes. So, next into the Comrades Club. Spent a little bit of time there. Oh, had a coffee and new mug. Found out later what that was about. Back home. And yes, Toadie's decided to have supper. June's watching something on the telly. Yes, the tracker shows where Robin's been, or where he was. Oh yes, got that copy in. It says that new high capacity removable disk drive. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 3rd of October 2025. Lovely speaking to Billy Laney and finding out that yes, he was at the coming home party in the Duke's Head, Sunninghill, for Jack Ponsford from his prisoner of war camp time. And a few snaps in the garden. Yes, overseen by Toady, our guard cat. And I saw those brambles were a little long, and I thought, yeah, get the right tools for the job. Not a difficult job at all. Put it down on the compost heap. And yes, you've got to put the tools back in the right place. So into the workshop area. Yes, hang up the little snippers. And yes, don't forget, put the tools in the right place. And yeah, down the end of the garden. And yes, a few leaves on the ground, but there'll be a lot more soon. And yes, where the stream is. And the chairs, nice place to sit. And that bowl is about right now. So even when the stream dries up, there's still water there. And Toady coming around to see what I was up to. Hello, Toady. And yeah, so this is early October. Snapshot of the garden. Back up to the patio area. And yes, that peeing boy's doing as it should. Not spilling out of the bowl. Oh, into the very untidy games room. That's been like that for years. It's on the list. So sometime we might be able to get it tidied up. Throw away things, put things in the right place. Ah, look, looking at rain. Looks as though it's going to be damp most of the day. June's watching tennis on TV, just for a change, from Shanghai, China, that was. Looks like I'm off to the village, past Toady, our guard cat, and the robot boat, with Snoopy the Viking at the front. No work done on that for months and months. Down into the village, into the blend and brew. Yes, a guy across there, I had a few minutes chat with him, he looked just like Chris. Anyhow, yes, looks like I stopped in the Comrades Club for a coffee for a change. And yeah, it was very quiet in there, so it was easy to take a view. And there was Billy. That was great. Oh yes, rain coming on, but it wasn't too bad, so I didn't get too wet coming home. And yeah, the Chris I was thinking of was Chris Evans, who was at the end of the village, and maybe that guy would get a job as an extra. And yes, usual thing. Oh yes, I thought get some photos on the family page of Jack. Came back from the prisoner of war camp in Poland where he spent much of the war. And there's some extra photos to go as favourites. Yes, they're tucked away on various places. Listen to the Radio 4 news. June's watching tennis still. I think that was tennis. And yes, so off on to the village now. I'm playing pool in the competition that Friday night. So a quick early meal in the flame kebab, but it was still an enjoyable time, chatting to people. And then back home, no photos taken there, but lovely time in the Comrades Club. Back home, oh yes, Toadie's having a late supper by the look of it. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was on his public tracker. There's Toadie on guard duty, time for bed, so that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 4th of October 2025. Yes, lunch was in the Blend and Brew in the village. So now into the photos in the order that they were shot. Yes, that's the Blend and Brew. Yes, so yes, notice that was completely dry. The pump was still running, and not sure what the explanation was. Best guess, it might have been the strong winds had been blowing the wee out of the little boy out of the bowl for hours. Anyhow, a few more pictures, including down the end of the garden, and that's looking okay, which is that bowl in the stream. So the stream, even when it runs dry, there's still some water in it. Yes, June's watching the tennis. Oh yes, there was a WhatsApp chat and reminder of some of the lovely old videos we've got up, including Jack's 80th birthday, and they're all on the family page. And yeah, I ended up playing that. Oh yes, Samantha decided she would get Robin lunch, but in fact she was hours getting round to it, so I went down to the village anyhow and I put a message for her in the WhatsApp chat. Into the Blend and Brew, lovely conversations there. Oh yes. And yes, there was a baby, whatever
Motion
they call
detected at your front door.
Oh, sorry about that. That's somebody come to the front door. And yes, that's the yes. So that's the scrambled egg and toast that Samantha had made, but she was so busy doing other things. Anyhow, off down to the village again, and this time, yes, into the flame kebab. So had a meal there, and then across into the Comrades Club. Very quiet it was, so a bit easier to take a few snaps, and then time to come back home. And yes, 22 Armitage Court. Into the house. Yes, June's watching something on the tennis. I said tennis on the telly, and yes, Snoopy's prowling around. Put the tracker on charge, and it hadn't been updated, so I topped it up. I think that's what it was needed, the SIM card, because it worked the next day. And yes, Toadie's making a nuisance of himself. The tennis is from Beijing. Toadie's on guard duty. So time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 5th of October 2025. The highlight was the visit to Albury Park Gardens. Yes, and we got a clip or two of video that June shot on her smartphone. That was open for the National Garden Scheme. But now into the photos in the order shot started in her garden. Oh dear, what's Robin forgotten? Probably forgotten to turn the hose off last night. Could have been lots of things. Anyhow, everything seems to be right. Despite the hose running, the pond 3 or bog garden had topped up, but wasn't really flooding. Oh yes, top up the bird feeders, usual routine for the morning, and that scrambled egg on toast is still sat out there since yesterday. Oh yes, doing the video, and make sure I use the VLC media player, because I found out that the reason it was skipping photos when I was playing back, very confusing, was the Windows media player couldn't do. Also, yes, so that stuff is now in the right place in the food waste. It could have been put in the fridge, and of course it was June who put it away rather than Samantha. Right, that was the walk around that lovely place 4 years ago, almost to the day. And those pictures are on the walks page. That's the trip down. Yeah, not very far, 40 odd minutes was it? And yes, so looking at the route, see whether you can remember it. Yes, some interesting places until we get to the actual place itself. So that was, oh yes, turn the tap off because the top bond was full up, and yeah, 25 past 1. Temperature coming up to 15 degrees centigrade, quite reasonable. Yeah, going down the garden past the Gunnery Manticata, which I often get the name wrong. Of course, this is some amusement to some people. Oh yes, that's the hemp or cannabis, industrial cannabis. It's actually legal. There's the 4 candles down the end of the garden. A few snaps around there. And oh, I noticed that little branch had fallen down. Must have been the wind brought it down. It was already cut probably. So put it in the right place on the compost heap, or one of the many compost heaps. There's our Gunnery Manticata. Well, not exactly head height, but we'll see a lot more of that on our trip. And June's watching tennis, probably from Beijing or Shanghai. 5 to 2. Yes, so we're ready to go. So a bit before 2 o'clock. And yeah, so a few snaps along the route. Yeah, it looks as though, yeah, Sunninghill. And of course, sure enough, Google Maps sat nav doesn't have train information, so no surprise there. We had a 10 minutes delay. Into Chobham, through Chobham, over the river, past a few landmarks on the way. Yes, I like Chobham. There's quite a few places locally that are nice. Yes. Oh yes, that is coming into the edge of Woking, probably through Old Woking. And yes, that's where we're getting pretty close. That's yes, we're into the place, Old Bunny Park. And that's the church. I remember picture of a rainbow on the previous. It looks like there's a bit of work going on big house there. Yeah, so we park and then walk up to over the little river. You can look on the mapping and see the name of the river, but it's a lovely river, goes through the property. And yes, that's a large cedar of Lebanon. And now we're in the gardens. I remember that wall along one edge. Oh, look at that old thing. Black mulberry. I thought it was a whatever, olive tree at first. Yeah, so they've got a water feature there. And that tunnel, very interesting, goes into the side. Yeah, look at that. Looks as though it's a very old tunnel, but I bet it was made good use of during the wars. Yeah, so quite a long stretch that is, lovely stretch. Oh, is that olives? No, of course it's not. Grapes, you stupid boy. But it's only a little tree compared with ours. Yes, that was put there during the memorial, which is a bench looking along that long straight. And yeah, absolutely lovely area. And there's the river. Flows along through most of the garden, if not all the garden. Now, June decided to go off then to stretcher legs around the lake at the end. I'd forgotten there was a lake there. So what we do now is go into the pictures that June took on her smartphone. So these are the stills, but she took a couple of video clips. Yes, there's the Gunnerer, and there's the lake, which I would have quite liked to visit, but I'd forgotten about it being there. There's more Gunnerer, and there's a video clip. Now that is of fish, and she wasn't able to identify them, but I'm guessing they were probably trout, because somebody with a grand place like that, that's what they would put there, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so she zooms in to hope to get a decent picture of them, but no, probably in the wrong place. There could be quite a few different fish that looks like they're looking on the surface for food. Right, into stills. These are still from June, I think, making her way back. Ah, yes, another clip. Now that's a lovely one of the river. Well, you debate, is that a river or a stream? I think it's they call it a river, and it is. It's been there a long time, of course. Right, that's back to my photos now, and of course June is meanwhile doing her walk, and I continue because I'm interested in that Gunnerer, and I remember that from years ago, and that's probably one of the visits that inspired us getting some for ourselves. That's the Grand House, or one of the Grand Houses, I think it's the main one, and that is called Middleby, and that was rather boggy, and I didn't get too wet, but I thought, oh yes, bamboo. I do recall gathering that as a young child. Still following the river, making our way to the church near where we parked the car. More Gunnerer, yeah, there's lots of it. Then that small pond, and across the other side is where they're having their coffee, and I joined them early before June. And yeah, so there, lovely conversations there, and of course no photos, but lovely people we met. I think they were from, it doesn't matter, can't remember. Croydon, I think it was. Lots of similar likes and humour. Anyhow, this is obviously the way back. Now coming through Sunninghill and into Armitage Court. Yes, back in Armitage Court with fierce guard cats. And there's Toady, yes, waiting on Samantha's car. Hello, Toady. Mind you, he spends most of his time relaxing rather than on guard duty. Right, check my tracker. Yeah, it showed the journey. So, of course, anybody live could have seen me walking around there. And then June's tracker, well, probably the way it was tucked away in her handbag or something didn't show her whole walk. Had a bit of a doze. And then woke up. Oh, yes, it was the Ring camera that woke me. Yes, the alarm from there. That's the Ring camera. And it was Samantha putting the dustbins out at the back end of the day. So, what do you do? Relax? Yeah, had another doze for a little while. Oh, yes, Bal and Raj popped in. And, yes, showed them briefly where we went, but they couldn't stay very long. And, yeah, looks like, yes, Tony there. I had a little bit of pizza because I'd already had a snack. And June's watching tennis from Shanghai. I decided to take a walk down to the village. Probably not to eat because I had eaten. There's a full moon, but no, I should have changed the settings on the camera to get a better picture of it. So into the village, no need to eat, into the Comrades Club, and enjoyed the time there, just relaxing, and very few photos, and back out. make my way home. Yes, 22 Armitage Court. And yes, June's still got something on the telly there. Yes, anybody could see when Robin joined and left the Cumberers Club. Yeah, so well, there's time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 6th of October 2025. Yes, the foxes eating peanuts caught on the Ring camera got the attention of Toadie, fascinated watching it and couldn't catch them on the TV apparently. Yes, so photos in the order shot. Yes, temperature coming up towards 20 in the garden. Yes, water level had gone down a little bit on the little peeing boy number 1, and yes, need to top up the pond, of course. Looking down the end, that's the second pond, then going down the very end, usual routine of checking things out and topping up the peanuts, I expect, for the, I say peanuts, bird feed. It's a mixture of peanuts and other things. There's 5 bird feeders down there. Yeah, coming back near the top. Yes, processing of the video the day before. And what else? Yeah, not a lot. And yeah, it's quite nice and sunny there. Oh, that was after the pond had been filled up and overflowed, and Jude's relaxing in the garden. So I've just turned the tap off, which is filling the ponds. Yeah, it's quite a pleasant day really. There's Samantha coming out to join June. And yeah, coming up to 2:45 in the afternoon, temperature nudging 20, 18 that was. Oh, what next, he says. Oh yes, these, yes, the digger, JCB, picture from Saskia of them having fun down in Devon reminded me of that holiday, 2015 in Sicily, where, yes, so it's a question of finding that and sharing that with the family, even though it's been there a long time. Yes, June's still relaxing outside, lovely bit of sun. I decided to have a cornet. And what else? Oh, Toadie, yes, he decided to join me there, or join us. Yes, he patrols the premises, but doesn't do a very good job, I'm afraid. Probably looking for mice. Had a bit of a doze, then woke up and it was, yes, it was the Ring camera going off. There's a visitor at your front door. Yes, it was the women. Are they just off to tennis, or? Yes, could have been. Yeah, 5 to 7 in the evening. And yes, it's getting darker, of course. Listen to the Radio 4 News. Yeah, a mixture of stuff. Ah, right, looks like I decided to go down to the village. And yes, down the high street, into one stop, get a bit of cash, into the Raj Fuge. Yes, enjoyable light meal there. Yes, there's the elephants outside. Looks like a couple of onion barges. Yep. And then, yes, so that's in the, yes. I said to Mick, can I have a cup of coffee? And yeah, that was quite an amusing exercise. But it was on him actually, because I had to make it myself. He did put all the stuff there, including a spoon. Right, back home by the look of it. And yeah, the tracker showed where Robin was. And there's Toadie joining me. And oh, that's checking out that place where Saskia and Gary were, with the, I think it was called Diggerland in Devon. And all these things are triggering memories, and if you're lucky, some of those are up there public in the right place. Oh, this is, yes, here we go. Here's the fox coming live on the closed circuit TV, and put the Ring camera picture up on our screen in the lounge, and of course Toady takes an interest. He says, that looks like a fox. And he does watch them out the window, but the difference is he's seeing them on the screen right in front of him. But for some reason they don't react. He has to learn from these things, doesn't he? Right, that's now watching the women coming back from tennis. Looks like they've got back to their car. I'm having yet another cornet. And yes, they're on their way home. And it struck me this was, especially having the cornet and just watching a screen, it was a bit like the old days of watching the cinema, and that triggered memories. Yeah, so that's the women just arriving back, and of course alerts go off. There's a movement at your front door. So they're back in, they're checking other things, and yeah, so something strange went with the Ring camera there, doesn't matter. And of course, watching these screens was remembering things like the cinema. That's where Mum and Dad met each other, I believe. Anyhow, time for bed. That's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 7th of October 2025. Of course, the highlight was catching up with Alan Edwards, our workmate and friend from 1970 at Franti. And then the photos in the Aldershot, yes, coming up above 12 degrees. And yes, that had run dry, the P and Boy number 1, so not sure why that is. And yeah, a few snaps around the garden, and down the end, yes, I would have topped up the bird feeders, but everything looks okay. So yes, there's the bit more put in the bird feeder. And yeah, look at that bird poo on the top of the solar panel of the mosquito zapper. Yeah, so no real change down the end there. Oh, Toady decided to see what I was up to, so he'd followed me down and prowls around. Yeah, there's the pond number 2 coming back up. Oh yes, the Bug Palace. And yes, that's the Finocchi, wild fennel from Sicily. Oh yes, 3 wise robins. And processing the video for the day before. And it looks like the women are just back from tennis. And Alan's arrived. He was taking some pictures in the village, and we got together in the Blend and Brew, and that was a lovely lunch and chat about old times and recent. Popped into the Comrades Club briefly and then back home. And what's next? Well, Snoopy's robot boat. Nothing much new there. Yes, tennis from Shanghai on the television. Oh yes, June gave me a lift round to the All Souls Church, and there was a get-together of the well, in a nutshell, it was mostly the ladies of the crafts. And that's Tammy's bicycle parked outside. Yeah, so so rather nice club that of ladies for arts and crafts, if I've got it right. Anyhow, as we got back, Bentley was hanging about on his front drive. Yeah, check the tracker. Yeah, so anybody could have seen where Robin was, including a trip round and time spent in All Souls Church. Oh yes, June went to collect Michelle from Ascot Rail Station at the time the train that we're expecting, and Toadie's waiting for them to arrive, Hello, Toady. On guard duty again, of course. Not very good at it. And so I'll relax out here, thinking, oh, they should be arriving soon. Toadie's thinking likewise, and then think, oh no, they're off somewhere else. I wonder where it could be. Well, my best guess is probably Longacres Garden Centre. And sure enough, that's what it was. And of course, because it was Saskia's birthday the next day, when I'm recording this, yes, Toadie's watching as well. He's thinking, oh, what are they up to? And then they arrive with Lady in her carry basket. And I think those pictures gave a clue on what the present was that Michelle got. So I think Michelle deleted them off the WhatsApp group. But probably a bit too late to do that. Oh dear, I'd left the hose on. And yes, so turn that off and check down the end of the garden. And yes, that done as it should. Overflow down into the bog garden area. Yes, all working as it should. Looking back up the garden, past the couple of nice seats we've now got to sit. Yeah, it's got to do something about that sometime. Probably a simple thing. Right, looks like we're off. So, oh yes, this is my appointment with Dr. Sarah Jones at Lightwater, because the NHS, the rules have been changed and they will pay for your ears to be cleaned out and if necessary a hearing aid. Not sure what happened with that picture, but anyhow, that went very well, that meeting. And back home, it looks like 7 o'clock in the evening. Oh yes, every now and again the ring camera goes off, says somebody at the door. Looks like I'm off for a walk down to the village. And yes, past the full moon, into La Sorrentina, arancini and olives. Yes, lovely. Yeah, Jupiter down the far end, sneak that picture. Now, how am I going to pay in, yes, it ended up being UK money. So, out of the Comrades Club. Oh, it was a brief visit there. And back home. Yes, Jim's watching tennis from Shanghai still. Toadie's prowling around. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 8th of October 2025. Saskia's birthday. That's Saskia on the right with daughter Michelle. Not her daughter, that's ours. Yes, here's one of the snaps. Saskia on the left and Michelle on the right at the get together. And these are the photos in the order shot. Started at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yes, temperature coming up to 14 degrees. Yes, usual routine in the garden, checking things. Looks like, yeah, going around turning the tap off after I'd been filling the pond. And down the end of the garden, yes, the apples are coming along nicely. In order to top up the bird feeders and check things. Yes, that's looking okay. And yeah, much the same. That's the nice seating patch. Right, that's our planned route down to Yateley to Saskia and Gary's, who are hosting the little lunch. And there's some photos on the wall, including a much younger Michelle and Saskia. And I noticed that the foxes had knocked that blinking peanut feeder out. So I went in, put it in place, but then looked at the video and it's closed circuit TV and could see exactly what had happened. And all happened in a couple of seconds. Here's Toadie on guard duty because we're off to Yateley for a kind of a birthday lunch. So they're putting things like presents and things in the car, and managed to squeeze 4 of us. So little photo trail of the route, including to the windmill, past the Cricketer's Beefeater, past Bagshot Park, and through Bagshot up to the, I think that used to be the Jolly Farmer roundabout, still called that. Yes, past Sandhurst. June decided the easiest way is down the A30. Yes, past the Elephant, and up past the Ely, and then around towards Yateley, into Yateley, and up Little Vigo, lovely little lane that is, with a common on one side, and we've arrived there. Yes, so Saskia starts to open her presents, and I just sit and relax and watch, of course. Oh yes, that's a bit of artwork. I think Saskia did that. It's quite a good likeness. Yes, there's Gary. And of course they've done a fantastic lunch for us. So there was no lack of food. Yeah, so piled my plate high and enjoyed that. And then they decided to take a walk, which was no surprise, but they went off that way. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I can cut them off. Went up to the runway. And yeah, so a few snaps along there, including the apples. Yeah, lots of those. Got close to the operating part of Blackbush. And yeah, the question is where they went. I found out, of course, afterwards from the trackers, but they went on a little patch of woods that they hadn't been before, or at least June and Samantha hadn't. But of course I thought, no, I'm not going to waste my time. So I went round and ended up chatting to some bikers, including Titch. And then, yes, in the Pathfinder Cafe, yes, I met little doggy Poppy and the staff. I think they call them for dogs. No, they don't. That's cats. No, owners. Yeah, so make my way back. A few lovely flowers coming up. Yeah, that looks like the right place to turn off. Ah, I know I'm getting close when I see those old bricks. So back there. Oh, time to have a little bit of cake. And yeah, so then Saskia got that robot out, and that reminded me of back in 69, 70 bachelor days, and Jerome having built a robot at Duncan. Anyhow, looks like we're off, and yes, down Little Vigo towards the main road. Yes, the Anchor Inn, down the A30, through Camberley, yes, past the what's now a temple, and yes, there's the academy, Sandhurst Academy, past the Bagshot Park, one of the entrances, and past Longacres, the Windmill Pub, into Berkshire, Berestead Hotel, Armitage Court, and number 22. So got back there okay. Oh yes, Toadie comes out to greet us. Hello, Toadie. And into the house. And yes, Michelle, of course, likes the Pussycats. So what have we got there? Not a lot, really. Oh, look at my tracker. Yeah, that shows the history of today's journey down. Yeah, including my walk. And then, of course, I thought, right, look at June's tracker and her walk, and it was a lot shorter. Yes. Anyhow, I think mine was more interesting as well, because the guys you met. A few snaps outside. Been good weather. Oh yes, I found those old 1970s videos. It was prompted by Juba sending me a flying video recently, but I found that old stuff where we met up well, whenever that was, middle late 70s. Rotterdam, I think they had a fly-in. Looks like I'm off down to the village. I think I've already eaten. Yes, well, I'm not sure whether that's past the full moon or not. Into the Comrades Club, spent a little bit of time there, and yeah, briefly had a touch base over at Sorrentina because he sent me a message. Adriano had, and back home, and yes, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail, and I might actually have a few clips of video that follow. Thursday, the 9th of October 2025. Yes, Toady on guard duty. And what have we got next? Oh yes, it's the women going off for a day down at Brighton. So they're going, yes, Toadie's guarding the premises while they go off. They're going over to Yateley first to pick up Saskia. Yeah, messages for the fishmonger from Grimsby, because I'm going to be out as well. Pub lunch with the grumpy old men. A few snaps down the end of the garden. It looks like I've been topping up the ponds. Yes, and it would have been topping up the bird feeders. Yes, that's not changed much down there. Getting quite nice. Then coming back near the top. And yes, that water had dropped a bit. Need to find out what that is. And back in. And yes, a toady. So now I'm hanging around waiting for Stuart. And I get a call from Faye. Oh, it's easy if you come up to us. Stuart's parked easily. So I go leaving Toady guarding the premises and go up the road. And we go to the Cricketers at Bagshot. Enjoyable meal and conversations there. Yes, curry, just for a change. And pricing seems to have changed a little bit as well. But anyhow, back home into Armitage Court. I pop in to check a few things, not least emails and things, just so I'm prepared for phone calls. And yes, that's left out. And I modified the sign on the door to say you can put it in the bag if he wants to. Keep an eye on where the women are. Yes, they got down to Brighton, and it looks like they had a nice stroll through that park before going down to the beach. I checked my tracker. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was in the Cricketers at Bagshot. And now it's going to be across the road for coffee up to Richard and Faye's. Yes, then coming out I got a call from Paul. And I got back to find, yes, the fish had been left there. Bit too big a box to put in the bag, but not to worry. It was all like ice in it. And a couple of receipts. Now, what I didn't realise is that one of those receipts June had left out, which is from a month before. So I thought he'd changed his price. But no. And yes, and that's the Ring camera recognising that it was a delivery rather than just a person at the door. So that was all working okay. And it looks like they were on their way back from Brighton. So I'll make a quick check of how long that's going to take for them to get to Yateley. And yes, Toadie's helping me, of course. And of course, processing is going on in the background of that video, which was quite a long one because we had clips from video from the 1970s. Right, coming up to 7:30. And sure enough, that's about how you expect there. They've arrived back home. June, Samantha and Michelle. But Michelle is playing with the pussycats outside, just for a change. Right, so that video is still processing. And there's Lady, Michelle's pussycat. And I'm checking things there. Yes, probably backing up video files and things. Yeah, tennis from Shanghai. Looks like I should take a walk down into the village. Probably to eat. And so down, yes, the Sorrentino was very busy, so it was next door into the Flame Kebab. Yeah, that looks like I got another call there. That was from Paul. So then into the Comrades Club for a little while, relaxation and chatting occasionally, and then back on my way home back to 22 Armitage Court, and yes, then time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. But there may be other material afterwards, which is what June shot down at Brighton. Here's less than a minute's photos that June shot down at Brighton, starting with their walk down through the Royal Pavilion Gardens. And yes, that's the photo I chose to go at the start. And there was only a few minutes walk from through the gardens down to the beach, where they spent some time. And looking around, don't think they went on that. Lovely place. And that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 10th of October 2025, and it was only the next day that realised that we are now on Street View at 22 Armitage Court, which has not been the case for many years. Anyhow, better late than never. And this is an aid to my memory because I took no photographs on that day, but that's the Friday. But yeah, met some important people. Like in the Blend and Brew, Juba joined me for a few minutes while he was waiting for a takeaway. Turns out, yes, a few days ago. It was only a few days before that. And it was at Blackbush. And in fact, he has a license to fly. But the lady who was with him and seemed to be a bit worried had insisted on the instructor being with him. Anyhow, there was a police PCSO meeting with Keith outside the Waitrose at Sunninghill. And of course you meet other people there. Sometimes, well, for example, Sarah, absolutely fascinating memories shared. Jeff Pick was mentioned, others like Diana Dawes and Alan Lake, and really interesting person to chat to. And of course shared memories with June in terms of remembered Diana Dawes before she went into joined Ferranti to meet eligible young engineers. And the other guy, John I think his name was, several years older than me, and I couldn't believe the coincidences. Yes, he also lives in Truss Hill in Sunninghill, but ex-Royal Artillery. So loads of links with earlier career stuff, and not just career, but fun as well. And yeah, so then it was for a meal in La Sorrentina, and then into the Comrades Club for a bit of relaxation and enjoyment, and then back home. So that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 11th of October 2025. That's Toady bearing his claws. One of the photos of him on sentry duty. And yes, usual snaps around the garden, 12:30, 15 degrees, not too bad temperature. That had dropped an inch or two. That's the bowl for the little peeing boy number one. Photos down the end of the garden. Oh yes, top up that bowl. And that's the second pond. Water flows down through that into the bog garden at the end. And making its way down the garden, yes, past the gunnery, Anticarta, and that bank ready for primroses and things later. And yes, so that's the stream that flows into the, well, you could call it pond number 3. It's basically the reservoir for the bog garden. And there's 4 candles down the end. So the usual routine of topping up bird feeders, make my way back up into the patio area and into the lounge. And there's Toadie. Yes, hello Toadie. So what's that? Oh yes, June's watching tennis from Wuhan in China. It looks like I'm off down to the village. Oh yes, Michelle's gathering acorns. She got a hell of a lot of acorns. 3 big tubs and another big pile. So down to the blend and brew. Oh yes, that was a charity leaflet round. But lovely conversation with Mary in the blend and brew. And then into the Comrades Club, where she's been there for quite a few years. And yeah, looks like in the evening meal in the flame kebab, then the Comrades Club again, chatting to Gordon, I think, or was that later? I lose track. And oh yes, video WhatsApp chat with family. In fact, that was going on while I was in the Comrades Club. Had sound problems with that, but not to worry. There's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, and there's Toadie. June's watching tennis still. Oh, there's those 3 tubs of acorns. I have to find some local piggywigs that like them. Looks like I'm off down to the village again in the Comrades Club. Yes, Saturday night is a busy night. Very enjoyable. Lots of laughter going on. And back home, past the tubs of acorns, some drama on the telly, time for bed, so that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 12th of October 2025, Michelle goes back to Coventry and leaves Lady to guard the house back here. And yes, oh dear, Robin left the tap on overnight. And it meant the bottom pond had filled up and overflowed, but just as it should. So usual routine, topped up the bird feeders. There's 5 of them down there now. A few snaps, yes, relax. Yeah, had a bit of a doze. And yeah, listened to the Radio 4 news. And what else? Oh, Toadie's taking it easy as well. That's on the lounger that June tends to use on the back porch. A few more snaps down the garden. Nothing much different. Yes, relax again. Well, I've got to decide what to do next. And yeah, that Gunra, yeah, that one leaf seems to be bad, but there's loads of other new growth, which is good. And working my way back up the garden. And yes, there's Toadie still relaxing. Hello, Toadie. And there's Lady. She quite likes that seat there, keeping an eye on the peeing boy. That's number 3. And right, so Michelle's pretty well ready to go, and they're going to take her to Ascot Station to catch the train. Has to change at Reading. Oh, look, all those, yes, acorns that Michelle insisted on gathering. Don't know what we're going to do with them. Or I'll probably ask somebody where to stick them. Right, going through the tunnel, quick way through to the platform, and she goes off, yes, on time. So her train leaves. Make my way back down through the tunnels, and yeah, some nice old buildings in that area. Right, making our way back through South Ascot and the Swindley pub into Armitage Court and number 22. Yeah, so I'm inside by then. Oh, there's Lady checking out, and she quite likes that place there, looking out the window. Yes, violators will be shot and survivors will be shot again. All just a joke, of course. Looks like I'm coming down to the village and eating in the flame kebab. and then into the Comrades Club. Quite a long relaxing time there. Yeah, they're watching darts, and Luke Littler won again, I think. Right, making my way back home, and yes, there's Toadie having evening supper, and where's Lady? Probably hiding under a chair. Yeah, so looks like they're both come into the lounge now. Yes, there's Lady. Right, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. I warned you they'd be long photo trails, and so let's go back into the house before we run into that material that was shot, as I say, probably a couple of years ago. So I'll start from here. Yes, I quite like that Renoir. Quite a nice expensive Renoir, isn't it? But yeah, so that's it. Still got tennis on the television. So I think that other material started at about here. Now, what I put on the screen, because global warming is rearing itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert. Shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise.
We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes.
That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. So to wrap up this video, walking out, so if I can work out how to use this smartphone, don't think I can. Only remains to say, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we can.